Dear ladies and gentlemen, life has a strange way of stretching us between two extremes. On one hand, we are called to dream, to believe, to see ourselves beyond the limits of today. On the other hand, we are reminded to stay humble, to stay grounded, to never forget where we came from. Many of us struggle to balance these two truths. Some rise so high that they lose touch with their foundation, while others stay so low that they never take the risk to climb. But the truth is, you can do both. You can stay grounded while aiming higher. You can be rooted and still rise. You can be humble and still reach for greatness. Because humility is not the absence of ambition. It is the posture that keeps your ambition from destroying you. Staying grounded means remembering that your strength doesn't come from applause, titles, or achievements. It comes from your foundation, your faith, your values, your character. And when your roots are deep, the storms of life can shake you, but they will not break you. Aiming higher means daring to dream bigger than your fears, stepping beyond the boundaries of what you've seen, and believing that your best days are still in front of you. It means knowing that your current situation is not your final destination. So, my friends, do not choose between staying grounded and aiming higher. Embrace both, because when your roots are deep, your reach can be limitless. 10 key points of speech. Staying grounded is about remembering where you came from and never losing your foundation. Humility is not weakness, it is strength under control. Dreams become dangerous when they're not rooted in character. Success without a foundation will always collapse under pressure. Staying grounded keeps you from being blinded by pride. Aiming higher is about believing there is more ahead than what you see today. Fear will always try to shrink your vision, but faith expands it. When you are grounded in values, your growth doesn't shake your identity. The deeper the roots, the greater the reach. You don't have to choose between humility and ambition. You can walk in both. Staying grounded is about remembering where you came from and never losing your foundation. You see, many people want to rise, want to be seen, want to be celebrated, but in the process, they forget the soil that made them who they are. If you pull a tree out of its roots, no matter how tall it once stood, it will wither. The same is true with us. The strength of your life is not in the height of your achievements, but in the depth of your foundation. You may climb ladders, gain recognition, or even achieve milestones others only dream about. But if you lose touch with the values, the faith, and the lessons that shaped you, then success becomes hollow. Think about it, the times you were struggling, the moments you thought you wouldn't make it. Those seasons carved into you a kind of strength that no award or applause can ever give. If you forget those moments, you forget the very things that gave you the endurance to reach where you are today. Staying grounded means never being too important to show gratitude, never being too elevated to bend low in humility, never being too successful to remember those who helped you along the way. It is about carrying within you an anchor that keeps you steady when life's winds of pride, greed, or self-importance try to lift you away from what's real. Staying grounded is not about living small or never dreaming big. It's about living with perspective. It's about knowing that no matter how high you climb, you didn't get there by yourself. It's about keeping your feet firmly on the ground even when your head is in the clouds. Because if your identity is rooted in applause, the moment the applause fades, so will your sense of worth. But when your identity is rooted in your foundation, your character, your integrity, your faith, then no amount of criticism can shrink you, and no amount of praise can puff you up beyond measure. To stay grounded is to walk into every room, every opportunity, every blessing with the awareness that I am here not because I'm better, but because I'm built. Built by grace, built by struggle, built by lessons, built by the foundation that keeps me steady. And when you carry that, you can rise as high as you're meant to go and still remain unshaken, still remain humble, still remain real. Aiming higher is about refusing to settle for the level you are on when you know deep inside there is more within you. Too often, people stop climbing not because the mountain ended, but because they got comfortable halfway up. Comfort is a dangerous place. It whispers that where you are is enough. It convinces you that stretching further isn't worth the risk. and it tries to silence that inner voice that knows you were created for more. Aiming higher doesn't mean despising what you have. It means honoring it by using it as a launching pad, not a parking lot. You don't have to feel guilty for wanting more out of life, for dreaming beyond your current situation, for believing that your future can be greater than your present. Think about the eagle. It was never designed to stay in nest. At some point, the wings that feel heavy have to be stretched, because they were made for soaring. If the eagle refuses to leave the comfort of its safe space, it will never discover the vast skies waiting to be conquered. The same applies to us. Aiming higher is not arrogance. It is obedience to your potential. When you aim higher, you are saying, I won't let fear, doubt, or small thinking keep me from reaching what's possible. It is not about competing with someone else's success. It is about competing with your own limitations. When you aim higher, you break the cycle of mediocrity that tries to chain families, communities, even generations. You set a new standard for what's possible, not just for yourself, but for those watching you. Sometimes, your courage to step into more becomes the permission someone else needs to do the same. You never know how many lives are waiting on your boldness to rise. And let me remind you, aiming higher is not a one-time leap. It is a daily choice. Every day you wake up, you have the opportunity to either shrink back into comfort or step forward into growth. The truth is, aiming higher will stretch you. It will challenge you. It may cost you some relationships, because not everyone can handle the altitude of your vision. But that's the price of elevation. Not everyone is meant to fly at your level, and that's okay. The higher you go, the clearer your perspective becomes. You start to see possibilities that others cannot, because your view changes with your height. That's why you can't stay grounded in complacency. You were meant to keep ascending until the full measure of your potential is revealed. Staying grounded is the anchor that keeps you steady while you're climbing higher. Because here's the truth. What good is it to reach new heights if you lose yourself in the process? Grounding is not about holding yourself back, it's about holding on to who you are at the core, no matter how high you rise. When storms come, and they always do, it is the roots that keep the tree from being toppled. And in the same way, your humility, your values, and your character are the roots that keep you standing firm when life tries to shake you. You see, the temptation of success, recognition, and achievement is that it can make you forget where you came from. It can lure you into believing you are the source of your strength, that you made it all on your own. But staying grounded means remembering the hands that helped lift you, the prayers that were spoken over you, the lessons learned in the small beginnings that shaped who you are. Grounded people never despise humble starts, because they know those beginnings became the foundation that makes their higher goals sustainable. Without grounding, the higher you go, the easier it is to crash, because you've got no anchor to steady you. Being grounded doesn't mean you think less of yourself. It means you don't let your pride take control. It means that when opportunities open, you don't look down on those still climbing. You keep your heart tender, your spirit teachable, and your perspective clear. The danger of aiming higher without being grounded is that you can start chasing titles instead of purpose, applause instead of impact, platform instead of authenticity. But when you are grounded, you can enjoy growth without losing your integrity. You can embrace success without being consumed by ego. And you can climb high without forgetting that the true measure of greatness is how you treat people when nobody's watching. Staying grounded is also what allows you to handle setbacks, because let's be real, there will be failures, disappointments, and moments when the climb feels impossible. If your identity is only in how high you go, then one slip will make you fall apart. But if your identity is rooted in something deeper than success, then even when life shakes you, you may bend, but you won't break. You'll know that who you are is not defined by your position, but by your purpose. And isn't it interesting that the tallest buildings are only stable because they are supported by the deepest foundations? The more you plan to rise, the more you must be willing to dig deep. Staying grounded is digging deep into discipline, into gratitude, into faith, into principles that don't shift when circumstances do. It's making sure that your foundation can sustain the weight of your future. Because the truth is, your height will expose you, If you don't have roots, the wind at the top will knock you down. But if you are grounded, no storm, no trial, no critic, and no pressure will be able to uproot you. Aiming higher is not about comparing yourself to someone else's journey. It's about refusing to settle less than what you were created for. Too often we let comfort zones disguise themselves as safety nets, but in reality they are cages. And if you stay too long in that cage, you forget what it feels like to stretch your wings. Aiming higher means daring to step beyond where you've been, believing there is more ahead than behind, and trusting that you were designed for greater impact than the one you've already made. When you aim higher, you shift from survival to purpose. You stop asking, "What can I manage to get through today?" And you start asking, "What am I building for tomorrow?" That shift changes everything. It changes how you use your time, how you treat opportunities, and how you handle obstacles. Because when you're only aiming at what's in front of you, even small barriers feel like mountains. But when your eyes are set higher, when your vision is locked on peak, those same barriers become stepping stones to take you further. The problem is, fear has a way of convincing us to keep our aim low. Fear says, don't try too hard because you might fail. Don't expect too much because disappointment will hurt. Don't dream too big because people will laugh. But aiming higher requires courage to silence those voices. It requires faith to believe that even if you stumble, the climb itself is worth it. Aiming higher means you are no longer satisfied with just existing. You want to live with intention. You want to stretch. You want to maximize the potential that's inside of you. Think about it. No eagle was designed to stay on the ground forever. Its wings were meant for the sky. And in the same way, your spirit was not designed to stay in mediocrity. It was designed to soar. You may be grateful where you are, but gratitude should never lead to stagnation. Gratitude is fuel that helps you keep climbing, knowing you've been blessed to come this far, but also believing that there is more ahead. Aiming higher doesn't mean you despise where you are now. It means you honor your present season, while still leaning forward into what's next. It means you use your current platform, no matter how small, as practice for the greater ones waiting ahead. And here's the truth. If you don't set your aim higher, you'll always hit beneath your potential. Life doesn't reward low expectations. It rewards those who are bold enough to stretch beyond what feels comfortable, to demand more of themselves, and to reach for what others said was impossible. And sometimes, aiming higher is not even about visible success, it's about growth inside of you. It's about becoming more patient, more resilient, more generous, more faithful. Because true success isn't just how high you rise in the eyes of others, but how deeply you grow when no one is watching. When you aim higher, you're not just chasing achievements, you're chasing the person you were meant to become. And that person is stronger, wiser, and braver than you think you are right now. Staying grounded is the anchor that keeps your heart steady while you're reaching higher. Because the truth is, if you rise without roots, you'll fall faster than you climbed. Staying grounded means remembering who you are and where you came from, no matter how high you go. It means that success doesn't change your character, that recognition doesn't blind you to humility, and that blessings don't make you forget the source from which they came. Grounding yourself is about living with stability in a world that constantly tries to pull you in every direction. Think about a tree. The taller it grows, the deeper its roots must go. If the roots are shallow, the storm will topple it. But if the roots are strong, the tree can weather the winds and still keep growing. In the same way, when your dreams begin to elevate you, when opportunities begin to open, if you're not grounded in values, in integrity, in faith, and in gratitude, then the very success you prayed for can become the storm that shakes you. Grounding yourself ensures that no matter how high you aim, you're unshakable when the winds of life blow against you. Staying grounded is also about never losing sight of the people who supported you along the way. It's easy to get so focused on aiming higher that you forget the hands that held you when you were down, the voices that encouraged you when you were ready to quit, or the lessons life taught you in your lowest valley. Grounded people don't forget their foundation. They know that the mountaintop is only possible because of the climb, and they honor that climb by walking with humility, by treating others with kindness, and by giving back rather than looking down on those who haven't risen yet. The danger of not staying grounded is pride. Pride whispers, you don't need anyone, you did this by yourself, you're above correction, you're untouchable. And pride is what causes people to crumble when the spotlight is on them. But humility, the heart of being grounded, reminds you every breath is a gift, every opportunity is grace. Every achievement is built on faith, effort, and the help of others. Grounded people are steady people. They don't sway when criticism comes, and they don't become arrogant when praise comes. They remain the same in the valley as they are on the mountaintop. And here's the powerful part: staying grounded actually positions you to aim even higher. Because when you know who you are and where your strength comes from, you don't get lost in the pursuit. You don't let temporary applause distract you from eternal purpose. You don't let the rush of progress push you into compromise. Staying grounded allows you to climb with focus, rise with clarity, and keep your heart aligned with your true calling.